going on, brother? Much going on. How you doing today, bro?
Oh man, I am fantastic, absolutely amazing, brother. I appreciate you. I just want to let you know if I don't give you your flowers, man, let me just give you your flowers right now. You know what's funny about that? It's funny that we say that. Like now it's this thing where we say I'm gonna give you your flowers now. I guess because people give flowers after someone's gone, putting it on their casket and stuff like that. And so, we done made it into even a manly thing to say, hey, I'm going to give you your flowers now. But, I'm going to go ahead and do that, brother, because, you a good guy. You like a big brother to me, and you're an influencer and someone to look up to. I appreciate you. It's a beautiful Tuesday, March 22nd. 2022. I'm pretty sure with it being 3/22/22, there's going to be a lot of people out there getting married. But guess what, though, folks? This is the only Tuesday, the 22nd of 2022, that there will ever be. So guess what? Make it an amazing day and get out there and do something positive, do something amazing. It's Truth Be Told show.
Hey, man, you know what? It made me a little emotional, man. You saw you want to give me my flowers now, man, while I'm still alive, man. I've been thinking about that and everything, man.
Hey, don't just don't start crying, man. I mean, you've done that
I
on
know,
air before, man, and we all got ragged for it. So
Hey, man, hey, listen up, man. I am one of those brothers who's never afraid to show my emotions,
never
man.
afraid to shed a tear.
Never afraid to shed a tear, but doesn't make me weak. Don't make me light. I ain't man like Peter said man light. I ain't man light. But I'm one of those brothers don't mind showing my emotions and being appreciative when somebody shares some love with you, man. Appreciate the flowers, man. And and really reason why I'm taking it to heart because we under attack, bro. We under attack. The show is under attack. Uncle Michon's under attack. You under attack. Peter under attack. Ukraine under attack. America under attack.
It's just war going on everywhere.
There's an attack on the truth, bro. There is an attack on the truth. As long as you can continue being deceitful, the long as you can continue spreading lies and everything, people don't have no problem with you. But the moment that you try to show a little light, try to show a little truth, try to rise it up and show that you're about something, you come under attack, bro.
Well, let me let it be known, Uncle Bishon, that if people love the truth that we're giving, then why don't you make sure that you support us by listening to us on Spotify, folks? Just listening to us is support. Okay, go click those links on Spotify. That's support. These are free things that you can do. You don't even have to subscribe or pay anything to Spotify to listen to us. Just to click that link, folks. Just type it up, Spotify.com, or go to your app store, download Spotify for free, and make sure you look up Truth Be Told. That's Truth with an E. Look up Truth Be Told. Support us also by going to historyuntold400.org. Remember, folks, historyuntold400.org, and make a donation of any side. We take anything from 50 cents up to $50 million. That's our cap, though, folks. 50 million is our cap. So please be aware of that. We also want to let you know that you can hit up our Cash App at History Untold 400 with the $ in front. Remember, $ History Untold 400, right? Because this is a History Untold sponsored show. And you can also do PayPal at historyuntoldinc@gmail.com. That's the email you use when you go to PayPal, historyuntoldinc@gmail.com, folks. And right about now, we're going to get into this segment talking about Ukraine. What is up with Mr. Putin running around here with that stank? What's going on, Uncle Michon?
Hey, well, listen up, man. We're going to have our stand-in, Mr. Peter Hayes, is going to be talking about that a little bit. But before he make mention of that, I want to just ride off what you said. Last week, we got a couple phone calls of people who heard that we would be put off. We had a sponsor got a little angry, a little mad at me and everything. We got a few people don't like. We said the N word, okay? The people are a little upset and everything. And a sponsor, somebody came and ran us down, okay, and gave us $100 spot, okay? Matter of fact, they actually said it would have gave us more and everything, but they said they didn't want to take away from anybody else. So I'm just telling you right now, if you really appreciate the Truth Be Told show, if you really just sitting, everybody's listening out there, okay? I don't like people who, you want to call in and have problems with what we say and everything, but you ain't dropping nothing in it, okay? You ain't putting nothing in. If you really love what we doing, hey, you're gonna be hearing it again. Support it. Support.
Absolutely,
Support
absolutely. Because the reality is that the N words is engraved into our society. And with that being said, folks, we're gonna talk about how the N word even goes across seas there to Ukraine. So Better Days with Peter Hayes. Go ahead and take it away.
Go ahead, Peter Hayes.
Hey, Joe. I had one question before we get into Ukraine. What kind of flowers were that? Were those roses, carnation, lilies you wanted to send to be sure?
Oh man, those were it was a whole mix. Mostly carnations though. But a whole mix of those flowers, man. They got these new terminologies out here. I'm just trying to stay with the times, man. That's all.
All right, a mixed bouquet. No, I like that. I used to sell flowers, so I know all about flowers.
You used to do everything, Peter. That's for sure.
Ukraine. What's up with the mad dog Vladimir Putin? Now, last week I shared a little bit of my experience of being in Crimea, working with a KGB colonel, and Vladimir Putin is a KGB communist, Marxist, mad dog, vicious killer. And we were talking before the show with Mishorn. Americans, 99.9% of Americans do not know what Marxist Leninism is and communism. Now, think about it. It's atheistic materialism. No God. We're not created by God. There is no God. And the second point is we have no absolute values. There's no afterlife. There's no ramifications. And guess what? Materialism means everything is physical, material. There's no mental, no spiritual. We are purely 100% materialistic. So labor. So when you read the Communist Manifesto, it's all about labor, labor, labor. So if you can work and benefit society, that's your only value. Guess what? If you can't work, you're disabled, get rid of them. Because now that's important to know what we're dealing with. So the fact that Vladimir Putin and Communist China are on the run, their goal is to challenge and supplant the United States as the world superpower. So that's the big picture. So Vladimir Putin took power in 22 years ago, and what he did is there's not 8 families in Russia that multi-billionaires. We talked about the 1%, right? They made a business deal with Putin. You let us keep all the oil and revenue that they stole. These were communist leaders, stole it after the fall of the Soviet Union. They said, we'll do a deal. So they have a deal where Putin gets 25 to 50% of all the billions. So Vladimir Putin has estimate of 40 to 50 billion dollars in Swiss banks all over the world. He's one of the most wealthiest persons on earth, and that's important to know. So he's been propped up. So in Russia, that you don't have freedom of speech. We couldn't be doing a Truth Be Told radio show in Russia. And so anyway, that's the craziness.
You're gonna have to watch that part right there, because you got some haters out there. They might call Russia and tell on Truth Be Told.
That's fine. I stared down this KGB colonel, and anyway, that's that. Now, what we're trying to do is this coalition, and the Truth Be Told radio show is part of this Global One coalition to help the Ukrainian refugees. God's Lives Matter, which is the organization that Mishorn founded. We are pulling our resources together to help raise some funds and send over there. to Ukraine and Romania, Poland, those surrounding countries. So we are partnered Global One, which is Global WON. It's not ONE, WON, with Christian Disaster Relief. They've been doing international relief for 30 years, and they have churches in Ukraine, churches on the border. They've set up soup kitchens, refugee camps, and we also work with a couple organizations in Romania. And what it relates to earlier, we're just talking with God's Lives Matter. So we're going to create a separate project to help those Africans and other people.
Let me jump in there because my partner don't know that I sent him. He might have seen me send the logo and everything, but I woke up this morning because as much as, and I've already donated. God's Lives Matter already supported Ukraine, unapologetically supported Ukraine, because any humanity under attack is a humanity that needs to be protected. Bottom line, I feel that way. But with that being said, when I also hear that maybe the N-word or people being disrespected solely because of their color of their skin is occurring also in Ukraine and Poland and maybe Romania and even in Russia and everything, then I got a problem with that as well, okay? And then it hit me this morning, woke up this morning, the NAACP, okay? What did I say for, Peter?
National Association of Colored People.
Hey, my partner that I've been partnered with for 30 years, okay? He's the president of the NAACP. And I want to be known, I think the NAACP, I think the state chapter needs to be the movement of a global movement to acknowledge that we're not down with mistreating people of African descent. We're not down with people messing with anyone of color descent that's trying to Ukraine, and you're trying to keep them from getting out because of the color of their skin. I got an issue with that, Peter.
Big time. So I'm excited about kicking off this. Just so you know, we have an orphanage project. We're helping children. We have a church, a refugee program. So this is maybe
my partner Marcus might call in and say, hey, he might want to say something about that and everything. But I just wanted to be known that, truth be told, we support. I'm never going to tell anyone not to support when wrong is being done. Wrong is being done, okay? Those children, those innocent women, that's wrong, okay? Putin, you're a dog, okay? You're a dog. So you're a punk, matter of fact. Remember Mano said that when that woman got shot coming off there? Yeah, punk move. That's a punk move, Putin. That's a punk move. But it's a punk move, too, to delay, detain, and stop anyone who's trying to get out of there, okay, based on the color of their skin. And, just got to say we got to say.
So great that we're going to be developing that as a additional project to help those people of color, Africans that are stuck there. And the great thing with technology, we can create a separate project.
Right.
And we picked up an orphanage. We just yesterday of 20. There's one organization that works with Catholic refugees.
Oh, very good.
20 orphans.
Get them on board.
Yes. Well, they are. We just picked them up last week. And I talked to them over there in Romania. So we have boots on the ground, but we're also going to help those African and
anyone of color. It's not. The thing is, I always want to say,
Well, most of them were
Africans. Most of them was Africans, but they detained Asians, brother.
Well, as I said,
anyone who's not of European.
Well, not even Ukrainians leaving. Their own border guards are charging them $200-300.
They brought up a very good
to leave Ukraine. Not to get into Ukraine,
but to leave Ukraine.
So talk about
some corruption going on there, right?
Oh, there's
a tremendous amount of corruption, right?
Eastern Europe and Russia. Here's why. They came out of an atheistic system. Whatever. There is no God. There is no.
So with that being said, we went in on that one. Ukraine love, right? Ukraine love, right? Yeah, that's right. All right. So Joe, let's
do this. I tell you what. Let's go ahead and hit a commercial break. Come on back, and we're gonna tell you guys how to support us when we come back. It's the Truth Be Told show.
Hey folks, this is Just Ask Joe from the Truth Be Told show.
visit historyuntold400.org. Remember, never know where you're going until you know where you've been. historyuntold400.org. Check them out. What's up, folks? This is Mr. Just Ask Joe, and I want to tell you about a quaint little spot called D Nally's. Awesome food, great price, 970 South 3rd Street. Remember, D Nally's, 970 South 3rd Street. Check them out. Get something good to eat.
Thank you, Truth Be Told, for allowing God's Lives Matter to be a sponsor. Wearable product as the purple t-shirt is bearing witness every life created by God has infinite value. This is God's Lives Matter.
She was my girl at one time.
Okay, you're a friend of mine.
Likewise.
Okay. We've been friends for now almost over 15 years, yeah, right? Yes, we're a friend of mine. And the reason I wanted to bring that up and everything because my boy Vince is a friend of mine as well. And I want to look at you, Vince, and say I apologize for any trouble, anything that we caused you, my brother, because it was never our intent and everything. But, you know, I wanted to come out right up front. I gave you permission to read Peter to say the N-word because of our relationship. It was in the content of what we were talking about, okay? And anybody who got a problem with it, I'm a military guy, you know. It says you got to pay the cost to be the boss, okay? And pay the cost to be the boss means you take on the responsibility of anything that happens under your headship, all right? And your brother, you're my partner. I understood why it was needed. And I will still can say it's needed. But I love what my brother Strong called and said. It was a terminology that we've been using in our households all the time. But it never was a terminology that I use about my children. My children never heard me speak that terminology.
That's right.
Never heard me say it. Never. Man, I told you, I said I just went home and visited my grandmother, right? That I just been missing 55 years. I was missing from my father's side. Ran into my cousin who was there. What did I tell you? My cousin, Vince. My cousin. He gonna walk up to me, man, and he gonna say, "What's up, my?" Hey, Joe. You know I lost.
You can say, "What's up, my nizzle?"
Hey, Joe, I lost it, man. I said, look at here, boy. Let me explain something to you. I looked him straight in his eyes. I am not the one. Don't you ever speak to me and use that terminology with me ever again. He look, I'm sorry, young. Hey, you look at here. Cuz, I'm sorry. I say, let me tell you something. Check that number at the door right here. So,
hey, look, real quick. You know what you should have done? You should have looked at him and you should have told him how to support the Truth Be Told show by listening to us on Spotify, right? I want to make sure you guys understand that. Go to Spotify and look for Truth Be Told. That's truth with an E. So please support us just the same by going to historyuntold400.org. Make a donation. Folks, you may not think that your 50-cent donation makes a difference, but it absolutely does. So please make sure you go to historyuntold400.org and make a donation of any size. You can also do $ History Untold 400 for Cash App. Remember, $ History Untold 400 at Cash App And just the same at PayPal, you can do History Untold Inc. or History Untold Inc. at gmail.com. That's the email that you use on Cash App. And right about now, I think it's kind of past time to go ahead and do the History Untold 400 moment.
Relearn. Yeah, man. Hey, go hook us up, Vin.
Norris Shelton's America's Little Black Book. There are many documented cases of individuals having their names changed, but it is out of the ordinary for an entire racial group of people to have a name change ever so often. In American slaves' short history, we have had several. When slavery was flourishing, nigger and black were two of the many disparagements for slaves. When I was a youngster, slaves were called colored. When Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was leading the descendants of slaves, we were called Negroes. Black succeeded Negro as a major term of self-definition during the Black Power years. In the late 1980s, in the aftermath of a smaller cultural nationalist movement, African Americans superseded Black as a preferred term of self-reference. However, if we started our beginning back during slavery, our racial name was slave. It is clear to see that the leadership of American slaves is confused about where their people's roots are planted. To put it bluntly, descendants of slaves don't know who we are because no one has told us from whence we as a group really came or how we as a people came about. Having so many name changes would indicate that even though bewildered and disoriented, we are still seeking our true identity.
All right, listen up. It's all about a little education with us, and as always, we a little controversy, stir up and get people listening to us. I've had more people listening to us and calling me and stopping me and everything after this segment that we've done, Peter. I'm serious, man. We started this segment about rights and what is going on. Speak to that real quick and everything.
Yeah, part two. Question: is there one human species or 5 different species as white supremacy taught? And we think, in some ways, we think this is a settled question, but it's not, because the core teaching of white supremacy was that there's 5 different species of human being, that the Lord created 5 different species, and they are white, black, red, brown, and yellow. And so we said last week is an evil, satanic lie, and we know that because science tells us that no human beings, males or females, cannot mate and reproduce and have children.
Exactly.
So a guy from Nigeria and a woman from Brazil can mate and have children. A woman from Sweden and a guy from Pakistan can mate. So no 2 males or females. So science, the Word of God tells us that we are one race, one human race, species, and then science. So, and in the animal world, let's look at the animal world. There's species of animals. A rabbit is one species, and a squirrel is one species. They're similar size, but they can try to hump each other all they want and never reproduce, because guess what? There are 2 different species. A buffalo and an elephant can try to, put on, Vince, they can put on Marvin Gaye music and get in the mood, but guess what?
Ain't nothing happening.
Sister Nicole, they cannot reproduce. Now, they can have the music, they can, wine and dine flowers. A female buffalo can woo a male elephant, but guess what? They might try to do what they do, but they can never have a. So
what about in I've heard of some things in some other countries, man, where some of these shepherds be getting busy with their goats and whatnot. Is there any human goat babies that's popping out anywhere?
No goat babies.
If there were, we'd be seeing it in National Enquirer, right? There's no goat babies. There's supposedly a bunch of alien children, but there's no. You're right. So.
Why? And I want to slide this word. It's called natural versus unnatural. Okay.
Exactly.
The natural process is between humanity. Okay. Humanity and everything we can do. We can get it on. We can get it on all over the world. You can get it on. Okay. But other species, we can't do it. Can't do that. And that's some unnatural stuff.
We'll
Okay,
be looking at that squirrel climbing down that tree, like, that squirrel's looking good, baby. Just don't go like that.
Now, the goat herder has to be pretty desperate out there for days and days to even contemplate that might be a possibly good
some
thing.
Unnatural stuff going on there.
Okay, so the second part of what we're going to bring up, we have a short segment, is so what if the second part of white supremacy was 5 species, and guess what? Shazam, the white race, the species is number 1, and all those 4s are heathens and superior. Now, if you want to oppress people and demonize them, that's very important, because if we said even if they said there is 5 species, but they're all equal, well, I can't, enslave you. I can't discriminate. But that was so important. The question is, why are we using in 2022, in the 21st century, why are we saying, I'm a white man, I'm a black man, I'm a yellow man? Why are we using skin color? And I say that's evil and satanic. So let's stop it.
You know what? And I want to
so that would be so the question would be, why are we still using skin color to define ourselves?
Amen.
I'm proud.
I want to add to that conversation that Martin Luther King said that another person can't put their foot on your back unless you stoop over. So the question is are we stooping over and allowing color to continue to be used? Now, see, y'all didn't catch that. Maybe y'all didn't catch what I just said.
You got to say it one more time, Uncle Mishorn.
Let me say it one more time. Martin Luther King said, another man can never put their what on your back unless you what?
Stoop over.
Until you stoop over. So, Peter, it sounds like if we're still allowing color to be used in the 21st century, somebody's stooping over and allowing it to happen.
Yes, Amasa. Yes, Amasa.
She's smiling. She's smiling, okay? I guess it's in the house. I'm just saying. And all I'm saying, I'm not stooping over anymore. Uncle Mishon ain't stooping over anymore. Yeah. We're not doing it anymore at all.
And the reality is that our culture, our demographics of people, the reason why we continue to focus on the bling bling and the shine and all that stuff, going and grabbing, trying to show off what we got when we really ain't got it in the bank. Our financial issues as a whole, one of the biggest reasons is because of our self-conscious issues, our inferiority complex that a lot of us have as a culture of people, because we still stooping over. Stop.
And so here, actually, we were at the Urban League, if you remember, and they were talking about this issue, and they kept on going black, black, black. And I stood up and said, well, first of all, there are no different races of people, so why are you calling you black? And I said this, why are you agreeing with some crazy white crackers from Europe? And Sadiqa Reynolds cut me off, said, you can't use that word, just like him. I said, yeah, these were some crazy white crackers in Europe, said there's 5 races. And why would you still be listening to some crazy white crackers?
Because we continue stooping over. And as we get ready to go into our guests is here and everything.
It's the battered wife syndrome. Let me throw that in.
She's coming in all this. This is called the truth. This is the truth. This is the Truth Be Told show. And so Peter's going to be doing an interview. We're going to go to a little commercial break. We can come on back. And who's our guest, Peter?
None other than Nicole Compton, Esquire, one of the country's greatest legal minds.
All right, folks, we'll be back. It's the Truth Be Told show.
Hey, folks, Joe from the Truth Be Told show. HistoryUntold400.org. Remember, you never know where you're going.
Okay, we lost sound, and I don't know why.
see, may I help you?
Hey, we muted one mic too many.
No, keep going. What you saying?
No, we muted one mic too many. I got no sound. Once commercials came on, I think you cut the mics inside so they wouldn't hear them talking, and then you muted this mic as well.
She came before us a couple times, and she did a great job. And so we felt it important. And also Marcus Ray, who's one of our co-partners at Truth Be Told, he's also president of the NAACP of Kentucky, felt like she would be a great guest to share a little bit. So Nicole, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've been doing, and then we'll get into some topics that the community might be interested in.
Well, I am a product of Louisville, Kentucky. I've been, born and raised here in Louisville. I am the oldest child of 8. Okay, my parents wanted a big family, and so we were kind of like the Huxtables of Louisville. I've been practicing about 16 years. I graduated from Fairdale High School by way of South Park Tap. And for those of you who don't know, I grew up in a evangelical Pentecostal Apostolic church, but got pregnant at the age of 15. It took one time.
Ooh, that one didn't go over well.
Right, no. But it made me more resilient. It started me on a different trajectory in life that could have went horribly wrong, but I took it and used it for good. And I still do. I still love talking to young people about making good decisions and how to overcome adversity. And so I use it for the good. But I took my toddler son and ended up with some scholarships from Brown and Williamson and Speedway, Super America, and some other scholarships. Was determined to have good grades, and that I was going to do something other than statistically what they thought that I would do. So I went to Berea College, which is one of the number one colleges, liberal arts colleges.
What's Berea's model? Why did they start? Because we brought it up on the air, this idea that there's one people. What's the model?
Many? It's of many one. It's one.
Of one blood.
Of one blood is many.
All nations of the world.
The Berea College was actually one of the first, if not the first, to integrate former slaves and Black students and white students. And Berea has really a rich culture in that not only was everybody treated equally, but it was founded on Christian beliefs. And they believed that no matter what your skin color, you're my brother. And they still do today. Yeah. So I had the opportunity to go to college with people from all over the world in little bitty Eastern Kentucky, Berea. And it was great. And not only that, but to travel the world. I actually turned 21 in Ghana, West Africa, living with a Ghanaian family in Accra. Loved it.
You rich.
I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. And so took my son. We went to Berea College. Came back to Louisville. I had the opportunity to go to. I had applied to 40-something law schools. I was accepted to about 37 of them, and chose U of L. So I came back home. I wanted to do something different in my community. So came back here, got my law degree and my MBA at the same time. I was the only Black female in my entering class. I found out.
Don't use that term.
I can't say Black female. Female of color. Yeah. I was a female of color because I actually am mixed with a lot of stuff. We all are. So I was the only one out of like 154 in my class, and out of 12,000 or more that had applied. And so I was a loner, trailblazer in my own right. Graduated with both my law degree and my MBA, and I sought out one of my mentors, Brian Edwards, who's now Judge Edwards, and asked him, I said, look, I have no money. I have a $500 credit card, but I want to start a law firm. And he said, I'll help you. You can rent a space from me. And so that I started with humble beginnings there, hung my shingle on 6th and Main. And since then, I've been in the community, and for the last 16 years, I've done a little bit of everything. I've from district court all the way up to the Court of Appeals. I haven't gotten the Supreme Court case yet, but I've done federal, I've done federal court in other states. And so now is the time that I am trying to get on the bench. And somebody asked me, they said, well, didn't you run before? And I said, yeah, 2010 and 2014. My mom would call it stubborn. I call it focused and persistent. So here we are.
Glutton for punishment, right?
I guess I am, because this is not for the faint at heart.
And what office judgeship are you running for now?
I'm running for the open seat in Division 9 of Circuit Court. So Judge Judith McDonald Berkman ended up retiring early, and that left a vacancy. So she had a year on her seat. And so that is actually the most hotly contested judicial race this time, because there are 6 of us running for one seat.
Wow. So tell us a little bit what the Circuit Court does, and how you would what's your thoughts and ideas on improving the whole Circuit Court? And explain, for a lot of people, different between family court, district court, circuit court.
Oh, I love doing that. Sure. That's one of my things. I'm also an adjunct professor. I love educating. So
one of the E's in truth.
Okay.
Education.
Education, that's me. So you have different levels of state court and you have federal court. So we're going to talk about state court, the state of Kentucky. And so district court handles most of the things that the average everyday person would deal with. So like your traffic tickets, when your mom or dad died, you have to go to probate court and probate their will, probate court, disability court. So if you have to go get guardianship or disability, not federal disability, but disability court. You have juvenile court. You have your small claims court. Cases that are under $5,000, you can go to district civil, and then all of your misdemeanors and most of your felonies start in district court. So those are the cases that the average person who's going to court, they're going to end up, having to be in one of the district courts. Then you have circuit court, and in Jefferson County, that's bifurcated. So you have family court, circuit court, and then you have regular circuit court. Family court handles your divorces, your custody issues, your child support. That's not criminal, because I left criminal child support. It goes in district. Your divorces, your adoptions, anything that would deal with families and children are in family court. Then you have circuit court. Circuit court are your cases that have controversy over $5,000. So if you sue somebody and it's more than $5,000, it's going to be in civil circuit. If you get a felony, then you're looking at going to circuit court for have your trial in that case. You have the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals is when you're not happy with what happened in circuit court and you want them to rethink it, you go to the Court of Appeals. And if you don't get what you want there, then you ask the Supreme Court to please take your case and review it.
And that's the Kentucky Supreme Court.
That's the Kentucky Supreme Court.
And what happens if taking the Kentucky Supreme Court and you're not happy? What's the next step?
If Kentucky hears it and you're not happy, then you can try to go to the federal court system and go to see if they'll hear it and they'll do anything differently. But again, they have the right to say, we're going to take this case and not that case, whereas in the other courts, if you file it, you get it.
So how important, and we're working on organizing people in every precinct in Jefferson County. There's 630.
Oh, I know.
precincts to the city metro council districts. And a lot of people don't pay a whole lot of attention to running for judge, and they go in, they literally don't know. They just kind of, it's like, well, I
pick a name and keep going. And that's what's scary.
Yes.
My heart hurts and my stomach wrenches and knots when I think about it. You may never meet the mayor. You may never meet the president or your governor, but I guarantee you some point in your life you will be in front of a judge. Whether it's a traffic ticket, whether it's an adoption, you will be in front of a judge. But the scary part about it is we don't care until we care. So when something goes wrong and you end up, I had a friend of mine who he doesn't live in Louisville anymore, but he has family here. And there was a incident that happened with his daughter, and the judge ended up letting the guy out, and he was upset, like, how does this happen? And I told him, I said, that's why you need to care when it's time. You see people that show up only in campaign times, and then they give you a card, or they give you a shirt and a yard sign, and that's how you pick who's going to rule over your life, who's going to make these decisions that will affect you. And so I think that was a big eye-opener for him. But I have a lot of people, I don't vote, I don't believe it's going to work, I'm not going to do anything. And then when something goes wrong, then they're like, how did this happen?
Yeah, so my career started in 1991, and that's how I became Better Days with Peter Hayes. That was my campaign team. But you're right, and I tell people, if you are not registered to vote, which is 30% of the American population, think about it, out of 100 Americans who are over 18 are eligible to vote, don't have a felony, 30 of our fellow 100 Americans do not vote. Okay?
Wow.
So that's 30. Then 50% of people that actually register do not vote.
They only vote in presidential races.
No. I'll get to that.
Oh.
50% who are registered do not vote ever. Now, in a presidential election, this last election was 60%. That means 40% of registered. Bam. Okay. So we're talking. Wow. Anyway, so the point is, if you are not registered to vote,
let's go. Yeah, we're gonna go to break.
We got 3 more minutes.
We're going to go to break because I got to make an announcement and everything. I just wanted to, let's go to break and we come right back.
Hey folks, Mr. Just Ask Joe from the Truth Be Told Show. It's HistoryUntold400.org. Remember, you never know where you're going until you know where you've been. HistoryUntold400.org. Check them out. What's up, folks? This is Mr. Just Ask Joe, and I want to tell you about a quaint little spot called D. Nally's. Awesome food, great price, 970 South 3rd Street. Remember, D. Nally's, 970 South 3rd Street. Check them out. Get something good to eat.
Thank you, Truth Be Told, for allowing God Lives Matter to be a sponsor. Wearable product as the purple t-shirt is bearing witness every life created by God has infinite value. This is God's Lives Matter. Talking about doing his will and everything, we just want to let it be known and everything. It's going to be an announcement and everything, but we're glad to have you here. But we're going to do a little cleanup here and everything because we don't want to get nobody get in no trouble and everything. We don't want the station to get in trouble. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, saying Nicole was brought in because of her expertise, and she's going to be on with the next segment. Since she's running for candidate, we have reached out to the other judicial candidates, and we're going to be having different guests on. And pretty much the standard is usually if you just can't invite one person to be on, you got to invite everyone. But we're doing that, so we're excited about this third segment about the family.
Right, and so I want to go right into the family because I believe your exposure in your life, because one of the E's in truth is exposure. And I was sitting back listening to you, okay? Yeah. And look at me. I want you to look at me because I'm telling you.
Make sure I'm on the
is that I recognize that you have a rich exposure, okay, that I think can prepare you for not just where you're going, but for anything. And I really want to involve you in the God's Lives Matter and to your leadership in what I call unwed with children, mothers or parents with children and everything, and learning how to overcome those issues. And I speak to that, learning how to overcome, you gracefully did it so well. You acknowledged you had an early hiccup, okay? Right. But you didn't let that hiccup keep you from accomplishing your goals and dreams. I think more parents with children who have those early hiccups, and just call it what it is, hiccups, not a negative, not a bad thing, okay? Right. It's just an exposure, something. But how you handle it is most important. Please speak to that if you don't mind.
It's just the alternative route. So here's the fact of the matter. There's only one man on this earth that walked this earth that was ever perfect. We all make mistakes. We all have made a decision that bit us in the butt later. Mine just turned 26. I'm joking. I love my son dearly.
Of course.
But, I never, I came from you talk about family, I came from such a supportive family. I know it hurt my parents. My dad was a trustee at the church. My mom was in the choir. My dad taught Sunday school. And there were people in the church who wouldn't let their daughters sit next to me. And, they thought that it was going to be contagious or, my daughter's going to do. Little did they know their daughters were way doing way more than I ever did. And, and it worked out that it came back. They ended up being my clients. They had to call me to help them. Right. But I used it. I believe that everything that we go through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, has to be for a purpose. Right. We don't, everything that we experience in life is for a purpose. It's what we do with it. So we can sit back and we can get bitter, or we can say, woe is me, and get stuck. Right. I chose, and more than just being a teen mom, I've been through way more. I've been through a husband who had an affair and 2 kids, in the public eye, things like that. But I chose to use it. If I can heal through it and let God work on me, that means I can reach back for somebody else so that I can kill the learning curve, so that I can help them, encourage them, and allow them to understand they can survive it too. And so a lot of what I do is dealing with people, overcoming adversity and overcoming the odds. My first year of law school, I was diagnosed. I say diagnosed because I don't say I have, diagnosed with lupus. And it took a serious toll on my body. At that point, I should have, dropped out and been at home sick and on disability. And I refused to do that. So I go out and I talk to people who have autoimmune issues or health issues, on how you can fix that naturally and how our body is designed to heal itself. So everything that we go through, it matters. Even in a political position such as, a judge, my first opponent that I ran against, I feel like was so disconnected from the community. And that was one of the reasons that I chose her to run against. Right. And at the end, she ended up retiring early because, she was so disconnected that she couldn't see that the domestic violence victim in front of her was scared to testify. And instead, she threw her in jail.
I got an acronym for you. Everybody knows that I'm an acronym person.
Me too. That's how I study for the bar. I love them. Break it on.
Hey, Joe. I know Joe. You want to jump in here? Joe cracks on me all the time. He's showing his acronyms. I got an acronym for you. Hey, right, Joe? I know you want to talk sometimes. You want to say so, right?
No, man. I mean, that's a whole language in and of itself. BCB, ADR, Q. FPT. You know, I mean, that is me showing language right there. Absolutely.
Well, here's my acronym.
Oh my God.
Well, I got an acronym. Well, I actually got two acronyms.
Okay, break it on.
Oh
Okay.
my God, he got two.
Oh my
TOOLS. Okay.
Tools.
Tools to
Okay.
overcome obvious limitations spiritually.
Oh, I'm gonna need you to write that down.
Oh no, you don't have to write that down. No. Because that's what I recognize that God used. God's using your tools. So all your experience and things. I'm dropping. Matter of fact, all of you that's out here listening, okay? All of us got tools.
Say that again.
Okay? To overcome obvious limitations spiritually. Okay? To overcome obvious limitations spiritually. So often we allow the world to distract us and everything. They're not realizing this is spiritual things that we must work on to help us to overcome. So I think the reason why you are the success, and you know what? You're going to be successful because you have used the tools to overcome obvious limitations, okay? But you know what else? You got good work. You got good work ethic also, okay? I can recognize.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm dropping it on you today. I hope everybody. So here's this acronym for work, okay? See, wisdom, opportunity, respect, and knowledge, okay? Wisdom. Your wisdom has gotten you where you are today. Your opportunities is what's gotten you where you are today. The respect is quite obvious that you have earned to be where you are. And obviously, knowledge. You got the knowledge.
I would put God first. So it would be godly work. Do everything as unto Him.
You got the tools and the work, okay? And I gave you two acronyms, and I'm glad that
I like that.
You like that?
I do.
Ooh,
I'll put my tools to work.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, Uncle Michon. I want to make sure that she reminds everyone once again, because we need to say it again, what she's running for, the position that she's running for.
Yeah, Joe, we
can.
Okay. All right. I forget. We got
to come out of it. We got put to the carpet a little bit, okay?
And
well, I was talking about exercise at the gym when I said running. That's what it was.
Yeah, I need to be doing some running, more running.
But you know what? I'm excited. I'm one of these individuals. I've dealt with the court. I'm actually in a lawsuit right now. Okay, I can't even talk about it and everything. But I have issues with that side and everything because I realized, and when I was dealing with my first wife and I got a divorce, I was ignorant because I didn't know anything about the system. So the lawyers played me against my ignorance, and they played me. But what they didn't realize is the only difference between some of the other people who got into stuff is I'm financially okay, and I was able to win my case because I was financially able to.
You know what? In the attorney who wrote,
So you understand what I'm saying about being financially stable changes the game when you go to the courtroom, especially as a brother.
It does.
I'm just keeping it 100, okay?
Well, the saying is that corporal punishment the corporal punishment is punishment for those who don't have the money,
who lack the financial stability to fight the system.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. So, but I realized that because of my means, I was able to do better in the system. And it's not the system; it's the ability to be able to fight it.
No, but here, the means does not necessarily have to be just money, and this is why. Because education and knowledge that is put in action is power.
All right.
And so one of the things that I wholeheartedly believe in and that I do a lot of is free webinars and free seminars and free workshops to basically explain to people how to navigate the system. I had a TV show for a while, Deadbeat Kentucky in a Child Support Court, and somebody asked me about that the other day. Well, how do you feel about that show? Well, yeah, it was entertaining, but it wasn't meant to just be entertaining. It was meant to educate so that people can see this is what court looks like.
So, Nicole, very inspiring story. This is the family segment, this last part. So we talked about, sexuality in the church. Why do our churches across the board do not talk about sexuality And we don't even teach abstinence anymore.
My church does.
Okay, great. But growing up,
Yeah.
the reality, the most important, we talked about males and females and relationship. One of the most important thing in life is male, female, and sexuality, human sexuality. And the church is like, no, we don't want to talk about it. So young people are out there
having to figure it out themselves or learning from TV and music.
Exactly. So why aren't, this is a whole other segment for another show. Why don't parents talk about it? My kids were both abstinent, okay, to this day, and they're 29 and 27. And people say, well, that can't happen. Well,
yes, it does.
It happens, and it should happen. But we would love to have you back on with your experience of.
I want to add to that conversation. I think another thing that's missing is that my wife and I, we've been married 25 years. Okay, my first marriage, we were married for 9 years. But when that 9 years of being married to my first wife, I had plenty of opportunities that I could have stepped out because marriage wasn't good. But what I didn't do is that I never dishonored our marriage. I never stepped out. And I remember when the judge asked her, is it anything, my ex, and the judge asked her, and she said, no, he never cheated on me. He never stepped out. And the reason I bring that up, because I believe my current marriage, God blessed me, okay, with the wife that I have today. I believe God is the term to that obedience is greater than sacrifice. Mm-hmm. My obedience to stay faithful in my marriage, God gave me favor. And I say that, and when you don't have children seeing that, okay, they don't see their father, they don't see their mother, and they don't see that sometimes. They don't understand that. So my two kids, both of my kids, my son, he went on, okay, he's married, got a successful marriage. My daughter, no children out of wedlock and everything, doing her thing, taking care of it because she saw that at home.
Then it becomes second nature.
It becomes second nature. Right. It becomes something that I think that is so very important. And that.
Let's see, my family, we actually did talk. Well, we didn't. My mom did talk to us about sex.
Right.
She did. The next generation, my sisters all pulled all my nieces and nephews together, and they had a purity ceremony. Mm-hmm. But before that, they did classes with the kids. As a family, this is what you all need to know.
We need more of that.
We do need more of that.
And you know what?
So, Nicole, go ahead.
Go ahead,
well,
Joe.
It's about that time, and I tell you what, we're definitely going to have her back on the show.
Yeah.
But just remember, folks, as a regular person, all right, we'll talk about running for something else. With that in mind, folks, this has been another episode of the Truth Be Told Show. Remember, check us out on truthbetold.com. That's truth with an E, betold.com. Check us out, folks. And remember, historyuntold400.org. You can go there and make a donation of any size. We will see you next week right here, same place, same time on the Truth Be Told Show.
Thank you, Nicole, for hanging out with us.
Hey, folks, it's Mr. Just Ask Joe from the Truth Be Told Show. It's historyuntold400.org. Remember, you never know where you're going until you know where you've been. historyuntold400.org. Check it out. What's up, folks? This is Mr. Just Ask Joe, and I want to tell you about a quaint little spot called D. Nally's. Awesome food, great price, 970 South 3rd Street. Remember, D. Nally's, 970 South 3rd Street. Check them out. Get something good to eat.
Thank you, Truth Be Told, for allowing God's Lives Matter to be a sponsor. Wearable product as the purple t-shirt is bearing witness every life created by God has infinite value. This is God's Lives Matter.
You've been listening to the Truth Be Told Show, brought to you by God's Lives Matter and History Untold 400. Join us every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on 1240 AM WLLB. For more, check out our website at www.truthwithane.betold.com. Please become a member of the Truth Be Told community on Facebook and like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel. And remember, Truth Be Told is not just his story, it's our story.
More praise, more power, Global Gospel Station.
right, cue the music.
Cueing music.
Start the music.
Starting music.
And go.
It's the Truth Be Told show, where we place America first. Honoring those who America has forgotten. Listen in and unlearn to relearn. As we set the record straight. And now, your host of the Truth Be Told show, Mr. Just Ask Joe and Uncle Nishorn.